pulled my son out of the school robotics club and told him he couldn't hang around certain kids anymore. My son Tyler is 16 and joined the after-school robotics club at the beginning of the year. He's always liked building things, and at first the club seemed like a good fit. About halfway through the semester, he started hanging out with two new kids from the group. The first time they came over to our house to work on a project, I immediately felt uneasy. They walked in without saying hello, dropped their backpacks in the hallway, and went straight to the basement. Within minutes, music was blasting from someone's phone, loud enough that I could hear it upstairs during a work meeting. I went downstairs and asked them to turn it down. One of the boys barely looked up and said, "It's not even loud," in this dismissive tone. The other smirked like it was funny. Tyler didn't say a word. He just kept fiddling with wires on the table. I turned the music down myself and went back upstairs. When I came down later, the work table was covered in soda rings, chip crumbs ground into the carpet, and pieces of tape stuck to the wall. I asked them to clean it up. One of them said, "We were about to, like I was interrupting something important." They did a sloppy cleanup and left not long after. That evening, I went to grab my spare charger from the desk drawer where I always keep it. Gone. I searched the whole house. It had been there that morning. I didn't accuse anyone outright, but I told Tyler those kids weren't allowed back at our house. He got defensive and said I was overreacting and didn't know them. I told him he could still work with them at school, just not here. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the vice principal while I was still at work. He said there'd been an incident in the computer lab after hours and I needed to come in. When I arrived, he showed me security footage. Tyler's two friends were messing with equipment they weren't supposed to touch. One of them unplugged a desktop mid-update. The other tried to log into a staff account. When the IT aide confronted them, they mocked him and kept pushing buttons. Tyler was right there, filming it, laughing, narrating what was happening like it was entertainment. The vice principal said the school was considering banning all three from extracurricular activities if there was another issue. I didn't wait for that. I told him Tyler was done with the robotics club effective immediately. Tyler met me in the parking lot and knew something was wrong. I didn't say anything until we got home. Then I told him he was out of the club. He immediately said, "I didn't do anything." I told him I saw the footage. He argued that he wasn't the one touching anything. He was just recording. I told him that was exactly the issue. He watched people disrespect school property and staff and thought it was funny enough to document. Then he accused me of being unfair and judgmental. He said I just didn't like his friends because they were different. I told him this had nothing to do with who they were and everything to do with how they behaved. They disrespected our home, possibly took something that wasn't theirs, and then treated school staff like a joke while he stood there encouraging it. That's when I told him he wouldn't be spending time with them outside of school anymore. He exploded, said I was controlling, said everyone messes around sometimes. I told him messing around doesn't involve humiliating people or destroying things that don't belong to you. He's barely spoken to me since. He goes to school, comes home, eats, and shuts himself in his room. No arguing, no eye contact, just silence. And honestly, as hard as it is, I'd still make the same decision.